Do you ever have half a bag of onions and have no idea what to do with them? I used to work at an old-fashioned soda shop, and I would cut buckets of raw, fresh onions for grilled onions or for burgers, but grilled onions were my personal favorite. So I am trying to make use of about half a bag of onions here for my family of 10, and grilled onions was going to be how I did that. You're going to slice them very thin. Thin is important. You're going to cook these down, but you're going to need a pile of onions. Onions are literally like the spinach of root vegetables. They have so much liquid in them, but that you have to cook it out when you make grilled onions. So make sure that you have a very hefty pile before you start. The thinner they are, the crispier they are. That's a personal preference for me. I like the crispy texture, along with the caramelized flavor of grilled onions. And when I made them in the soda shop I worked at, we actually used a cast iron like bacon press to press these down and get them nice and crispy before we put them on the burgers. I love that. My people do not like that. I have some sons that are not super fans of that texture, and so I just cook them until they're literally melt in your mouth soft. So, again, piles of onions, you're going to take apart every little ring for these grilled onions. As you can see, they were very stout onions. As they get older, they become more sulfurous, and they will make you cry probably more than any other onion you've ever cut. And so that is why I had to move my glasses. But when I say a pile of onions, like this was not even a quarter of what I cut. And yeah, it was a big pile. Like I said, I worked in an old-fashioned soda shop. I did not touch my face. I did not with my hands. I did this all without making it yucky, I promise. And so I have people talking to me as I'm cutting these onions. I found a recipe for a chaffle where you add onions to it. And that helped with the texture for some of my kids that do not love onions, because there was also a different flavor associated with it. And I'm adding egg whites here for texture. It actually didn't call for that, but it helped a lot with the texture of the chaffle because I did try it the first time without the egg whites. Don't be like me. Don't start this project with the waffle iron without putting a plate under it. Uh, you will have happen what I had happen, which is as the liquid from the onions are released, it just kind of becomes a volcano and it starts going everywhere. As you can see, the taking a hot waffle iron and trying to put it on a plate while it's running is problematic. um, Nobody was burnt in the moving of this waffle iron, so there we go. These chaffles took about 5 minutes because there's so much liquid, and I did want them pretty crispy. But again, this is a don't be like Nicole moment. When I went to take these off the griddle or the waffle iron, they stuck. A waffle iron is a great way to show you that you don't run this thing if you do not spray the waffle iron before you use it. That is what happened. And as you can see, I am going to have to peel this thing off of my waffle iron. I did get it off in one piece, but it took a minute and about 2 forks. So again, this is a don't be like Nicole moment. Spray your waffle iron. I have about 6 of these mini dash waffle irons. I did buy 6 individual ones when they were on sale because, in my mind, if I could have 6 of these in my house, then I could make enough of whatever it was for my family of now 10 and make it worth it. They do have like one of these where there's 4 different waffle sections in one machine. And I considered it. I promise I considered it. But the problem to me was that if I bought this one that had 4 wells in it and it broke, then I'm out 4 waffle irons. But if I buy 6 individual ones, if one of them breaks, which they have, they've hit the floor and like busted apart, um, then I'm not out 4 different machines that I have to replace. I'm only out one. So, to consider if you are in the market for a mini waffle iron or even a big one. It is worth it to me to buy them individually now. I'm really, really, really glad that I did. As you can see here, I'm also tearing apart those onions like I told you for my grilled onions. I was just literally trying to make use of what I had. There's this movement that I've seen on social media. We got food at home. That is where my mind was with this. Here I am with blessing number 4. She is helping me literally tear apart the rest of the pile of onions that I cut up. It takes time, but I promise this is good work. Uh, if you love grilled onions, it's totally worth it. And we had a pan full of these onions. All right, how in the world do you make grilled onions? You do most of the prep work that I showed you right here, which you can do multiple days in advance if you would like to. And then you are going to lightly spray your pan and put the pile of onions in there. I like to put mine on about medium heat, which on my cooktop is about 4. You can do this on a Blackstone. You can do this on a grill in a pan. However you want to do this, just you need something to put it in, and you are going to let these cook down. Again, I said these are the spinach of root vegetables. You will start with a pile, and then you will end up with a significantly smaller pile of grilled onions. What you're doing is making these things release their liquid and caramelize the natural sugar that's found in them, and it sweetens them up. It takes that spicy bite away, especially if they're well past their prime, but they need to meet their food destiny in your home, like these onions did in my home. You are going to try to keep these in one like layer on the pan so that they can cook evenly, but you are also going to need to stir these around quite a bit unless you want crispy bits. I like crispy grilled onions as well as the soft melt in your mouth ones, but the people in my home really prefer them the melt in your mouth version. As you can see, they were amazing.